Good morning everyone. Myself Shivam and today is our 11th video lecture of covering basic of Python. So uh, there was one topic which was left in previous video. So firstly we will cover this part, then we will move to our next part. Next topic is method in a class. So we have left this topic in previous video lecture, as the previous video lecture was very long. So I have to also upload them on YouTube, so there was some issues. So without wasting our time, let us start. So here, what is a method? A method is a function defined inside a class that work with the class attribute and perform some operation using them. Means a method is what which is defined inside a class and that performs some operation using the attributes. So in Python, every method has specific first parameter called self, as we have also discussed in previous lecture. So if we define any method, so or initialize the variable, first we will write the self, which refer to the object that called it. Means when we call the object, so it refer to that object only. So how it is, like, first we will define a class car, then we will initialize the variable, and here it is written firstly self. So self dot this brand is equal to this brand, self dot model is equal to model, like here. So it will refer to this object only. So next we will define another method like start engine self, and we will print the value of self dot model and self dot brand. So here start engine means this is a method, a function inside a class. Means this is the class, and inside this is the function or a method. When we call car1 dot start engine, Python automatically passes car1 object as the value. So inside this method self dot brand refer to car1 dot brand. Means this self dot brand refer to this brand car. Like we have to solve one question. The student class is already defined and initialized with the attribute name grade. A student object has also been created. Means they have given student object and student class, and the method is already provided. Your task, what is our task? Like we have to define a method name display detail, and this method should print the student detail in the format name, the name of the student, and the grade. So the code which is written in the orange line is provided to us. We just return this code, so we will understand the whole code properly. First we have discussed how we can classify the class. We will write class, then class name, then define the object self dot name. Then they have said that we have to define a method named display detail. So this is the method name display detail inside the class function, and it refer to the self. Then we will print self dot name, means this self dot name. Then we will print grade dot name. Then we have taken input name and grade. Then we have created an object student1 is equal to student name comma age. Like here it is also that class name and the object name are different, so we can simply call student1 dot display detail. So the name of the student and the grade will be called. So next is understanding the self parameter. What is the self parameter? So till now you have seen that the self refer to the object itself. So now we actually see that what the self object is. Self tell Python, hey, this belong to me, not to any other object. So like if anything belongs to you, you say that it's mine. So same as self will tell this it is belong to that object only. Without self, Python would not know which object data type you are using. Like here self dot brand, self dot color. So we will when we want to print, we should write self dot car and self dot brand. So this brand is this, and color is called first. So this is the example. So next we have created two cars, car1 and car2. When we call this car1 dot show detail, means this is called now, so it will give us the color and the brand of the car. So the output will be this is a red Toyota, this is a blue Honda. Next is our task is that the car class is already defined and initialized with the attribute brand and color. Your task is to we have to define the method show detail inside the car class. This method should use the self keyword to print the car brand and color. Means we have to make one method name show detail, and inside that we have to print the car brand and the color of the car like this. The car object has already created for you. So this will be the code. They have given us car class. Inside this they have initialized the variable. We just need to define the method show detail. Inside this we have passed the self parameter, and we will print the self dot brand and self dot color, because we want to print the color. And I have also told you that anything inside these curly braces will give the value of that. It will not print as it will give the value of that object. So this is simple question. Next is modifying object attribute using method. Means how we can modify the object attributes. We need, so this is not of our type. Means we did not need to focus on that. Just read this. We need a way to update this attribute. This is where method that modify comes in. Means method inside a class can read and modify the object. Any method which is discussed or derived inside a class can read or modify the object attributes using self.attribute name to access the specify object data. As here self.grade will access to this grade. This ensures that each object remain independent and only the intended object is updated. Means this self is like this belong to mine, so only this is updated, no, not any other data is updated, so it will focus on that part. uh, Here is one how we can update a student grade. Like first we will discuss we will define a class student, initialize the object, then we want to update. So we will make another method define update grade, and in this we will pass self comma new grade. So this is a new parameter new grade, so self dot grade will be updated to this parameter new grade. So we will print self dot name is grade is updated to do self dot grade. So and this self dot grade is now initialized to this, but the name will remain as grade like here. So we will give first a student 1 is equal to student. So if we want to print the previous, we can print from here, but if we want to update, like student 1 dot updated means this method, and it will be passed to new grade, and this new grade is passed to this grade, and it will be printed here. So it is written alias grade is updated to a. So what you need to understand that we have make another method named new grade, and this is passed to grade which is defined in the class student firstly. Then we have given the student one make an object, and in this we have passed alias and grade is b. So we want to update this grade b to a, so we will call this method student one dot update grade, and in this we have passed only one parameter new grade, so we will give this value a, and this a will pass to new grade. This new grade is assigned to this grade. So this is the procedure how you can update the method in our attribute. So we will solve one question. Here it is written that the car class is already defined. So this is the class car which is already defined because it is written in orange color. So what is our task is we have to redefine the repaint method inside the class car. So we have to define the repaint method, and it should take one argument new color. Update the color attribute to new color and print. Like in previous question, we have taken the student grade to be updated, and we take one method update grade and pass only one argument. Self is the already default parameter, so we have passed another parameter update graded, and that upgrade graded we have upgraded b grade to a. Same as in this we have to repaint means update the paint. So how we can solve this? Like this you know how to declare a class, how to initialize the. So next here we have written define repaint self dot new color, as it is said that pass it should take only one argument new color. So self is the default argument and new color is passed. So self dot color means self dot this color is equal to this new color, and we will take or create an object car1 and pass Toyota and red. Then we will take new color input from the user and will change to car1 dot repaint new color, means this car1, then we call this repaint is given the color new color. So this new color will pass to this self dot color and the original or the updated paint will be printed. So this is the some topic left in previous video lecture. So we will start from our lecture 11 now. So be ready, we will start from lecture number 11 today. So now we will cover our video lecture 11. So here is a one question, like we have to write filling the missing code. So these all are the tasks we need to define. So these are written one by one, so don't get confused. First we need to define a class car, okay. Then we have to define a method set name which have two arguments self comma name. Then define the method get name which have one argument self. Then we have to create one instance of car and name it as Honda. So object are instance of the classes, so it directly mean we have to create an object. So do not confuse by instance of car means object of car. Then take name of the car from the user, okay. Call the method set name on Honda and send car name as argument, okay. So this is the simple question. So how we can solve this? First we will define a car class, then we will define set name and pass self comma name. Then we will give self dot name is equal to name. Then we will define a method name, get name. So we will write define get name, and inside this we have to pass only self argument as it is already written in the question. So it have to return the name, so it will give return self dot name. Then we have create the instance of classes means object Honda is equal to, and we have called this car, and we did not pass any argument because we have to take it from the user. So we will take car name from the input as the user. Then Honda dot set name means this name is car name, in this name value will give given this car name, and we will print it through Honda dot get name because it is returning the Honda object. So here do not confuse that it is car name, it is name. Just see it clearly, like car name we have taken from input. Honda dot set name means this. In this there is only one parameter name, and this parameter name is given this car name value means the user will give us, and this name value is now passed to its object, and this value is written in get name. So for returning it we will give this get name value here. And next is we have to write a program with methods. So this is same as previous, they have given us a task what we have to do. First we have to define a class person, then we have to add a method set name which takes self and name as parameter. Inside this we have to write the self dot name is equal to name, add a method get name also which will take self as parameter. Inside this we have to return self dot name means this we have to return from the get name method. Then we have to create two instances means two object p1 and p2. For then we have to call set1 on p2 and pass name as parameter. Then we have to pass set name on p2 and pass name as the parameter, and we have to call the method get name so that it is will be returned. So without wasting time, first we have taken a class person, then we have defined a method set name and pass self and name as parameter. Then we have returned the self dot name is equal to name, we have initialized it. Then we have defined get name, then we have in get name we have returned the value as it is written here, and get name we have to return self dot name, so return self dot name. Now we have to create two instance means two object p1 and p2 and take name1 and name2 as input from the user. So in p1 we have to pass the name1 and in p2 we have to pass the name p2. So p1 dot set name means this set name pass the value name1 means this name1 will go to set name. of p1 object. Then p2 dot set name name2 means in p2 object the name is name2. Then we will print them by calling the get name, because the get name return the self dot name. So p1 dot get name, p2 dot get name. So next is Python's way of method overloading. So we have just discussed overloading. What is overloading in previous lecture or previous lecture. Now we will say that what are the way of method overloading. So overloading is the ability of a function to behave in different way based on the parameter. Means there is only one method and it will behave accordingly. Like you are only one person, and in school your name is different, and in your home your relative call you by different name. So you are only one method, but you behave as two, in school another and in home another. So this is the definition of method overloading. So what is the definition? Like method overloading means the ability to have multiple method with the same name which vary in their parameter. Means their parameter will be different but the method name is same. It is the concept of polymorphism, but Python does not allow this kind of overloading. So we will read this because this is important. In Python we can create a method that can be called in different way. So it is saying that we can call a Python method which be called in different way, and it can have 0, 1 or more arguments. The process of calling the same method in different way is called method overloading. Means when we call same method in different way, like first we call you by your original name, then we call you by your home name. So the method of calling the same method in different ways is called method overloading. So this kind of method overloading is not supported by many OOP languages like C and C, not C, like C++ maybe, but Python allow it. But in Python we can do method overloading. So a overloaded method is defined as, like you can see here, it is an example. First we have defined a class and the class name is class name. Then we have defined method 1 and pass self comma name is equal to none, wish is equal to none. Then we have defined one object and call the class name class, and then object 1 dot method 1 means this method. Then object 1 dot method 1 ram means we have passed the name as ram. Then object 1 dot method 1 ram and good morning means wish is equal to good morning and name is equal to ram. In this we have called the method 1 in three different ways. First we did not pass any argument, then we pass only ram as the argument, then we pass ram and good morning as the argument. So this means the same method can be called using 0, 1 or 2 argument. The body of method 1 contain the logic of what need to be done. So this is called method overloading. Here it is one question, like we have to create a Python class called greeting. Means the class name is greeting with a method says hello that greet a person with their name and an optional personalized wish. So this method has to take two parameters, name and wish, like we have taken in previous example, both of which are optional. Means name is optional and wish is also an optional. Implement the method in such a way that it should follow these two rules. If both name and wish are provided, the method should print hello, then the name and then the wish. Like if only name is provided, the method should print hello and the name. So first you should pause the video, then you should solve or try it by yourself, or we will see. So let's see the solution to this question. It is saying that we have defined a class name greeting. So in this we will define a method say hello and pass self comma name also none and wish also none. Means now this is empty, like we have discussed in previous example. So self dot name is equal to name, self dot wish is equal to wish, like we always pass. It is saying that if wish not equal to none, means if the user has given us wish and it is not equal to none, so we will print self dot name and self dot wish, means self dot name will be printed and then wish will be printed, and first we have written this hello. So this method is followed here, this hello first name then wish. So here first hello, then self dot name, then self dot wish. So it is saying that if the wish is not equal to none, and else print hello self now. If the wish is equal to none, so we should simply print the name of the class student, then greet is equal to greeting, means this greet is the object and this greeting is the class called here. Then we have taken a as input, b as input from the user. Then we will say that greet dot say hello, means this we have called method and say a, then means this a is called here only none. Greet dot say hello a comma b, means this a is also called, this b is called. If the wish is not equal to none, so this object will be called, means self dot name, self dot wish. And if the wish is equal to none, means the user have not entered any wish, so the first method greet dot say hello is called, and it will pass only the a, which is the name of the student, you can say. So maybe you have understood this question. Next is OOP concept, inheritance and polymorphism. So now we will discuss about inheritance and polymorphism topic. So first we will read about modularity. The act of dividing a program into individual components is called modularity. So in simple word you can say that a modularity is defining a long work into short part, so it can be easily done. Like you have a work that has to be done in 10 parts. You cannot do 10 hour works in one day, so you need to know that you can do 1 hour work for each 10 day. So you divide a long work into short work. So same as modularity, if there is a long program, we can divide into part, which is called modularity. So it reduces the complexity of some to some degree, means it will decrease complexity. The line of code remains same, but the complexity is how we can reduce it is in to some degree, means first you will read first part, then second part you need not to read it whole at the same time, so it will reduce to some degree or some way. It create a number of well-defined document boundary within the program, means one paragraph is one line of code is and then it will start second line of code. So the boundaries are well defined, and it is correctly known that from this to this it is part 1, this to this is part 2, and when we add part 1 and part 2 it will be the full program. Next is inheritance. So what is inheritance? Inheritance, like your father has some genetics of your grandfather, and you have some genetics of your father and of some of your grandfather. So this is called inheritance, the process by which an object of one class acquire the property of object of another class. So the another class will be the parent class, and the property and the object or the class which acquire the property will be the child class or the base class. So the main reason is to reusability, like there is one example, like assume there is one line of code written in class a, then the again we need to write the program that line of code in class b. So we can use inheritance, we just need to call this class a here in class b, so we did not need to write the code again and again. This is called inheritance, which means we acquire some properties of class a into class b, so we did not need to write them again and again. This is called reusability, that is one can derive a new class from an existing class and add a new feature. Then we have called the class a to class b, we can add some feature of our again in class b. So this is called inheritance. This ensures closeness with the real world model. Another reason is transitive nature. If class A inherit property of class B, then all subclasses of class A will automatically, means what it is saying that if a class B has inherited some properties of class A, and if there is another class C, and you will pass the class B as the parent class in class C, so the class C will acquire the properties of class A automatically. Like you can connect it to real world example. If your father has some genetics of your grandfather, so then from your father you came, so you have some genetics of your father and your grandfather automatically. So same as when we call the class A to class B and class B to class C, so class C will automatically have the property of class A. This is all about inheritance. Next is polymorphism. It can be defined as the ability of a single entity to behave differently depending on the context. Like one person have different behavior in the different method. It has the ability to take more than one form. An operation may exhibit different behavior, like you are the only one person and you behave different in school with your school friend, and in home with your relatives you behave different. So it means one entity but have different behavior depending on the situation. So we have to select the correct option from these. It is saying that polymorphism can be defined as the ability where an entity can behave differently depending on the context. So in comment you will tell this is true or false. Then the purpose of inheritance is to avoid redundancy, modularity, reduce the complexity of the program. So all these three are correct. As we have read that inheritance properties to avoid redundancy, we need to write the code again and again. Then modularity reduce the complexity of the program. At it is line is here mentioned, it reduces the complexity to some degree. Then polymorphism can be defined as ability where one entity behave differently on different context. It is written that one entity but have different behavior, different context, or and the different situation. So all these three are right. At this is you can see. Next is understanding inheritance. So now we have understand the inheritance in theory part. So now we will cover the coding part of the inheritance. So inheritance is implemented by creating a derived class, as I have said you. Thus that then that can have the feature of the base class in addition to feature of its own. So how we can create this in real time? It is more of the parent child relationship, as I will also give you example of parent child. A child generally has feature of the parent as has additional of new features. So we will cover this part. Here car is a base class. So car is a base class or parent class. So it is saying that base class is also called the parent class. So in next video lecture, if I use a base class or parent class, so do not get confused. The base class and parent class means have same, which can have an engine, tire, etc. Honda Accord can be derived class, means the car class, and from this Honda Accord can be derived. That is a car first. So also has feature like ABS and color. So how we can create like a base class is created just like a regular class, like we create a car class in previous example. So the base class is same as the normal class, means class, then class name, then statement. Next is derived class. A derived class is created by passing the base class name as parameter to the derived class. Like here class derived class means this is the base class, this is the derived class, and in parameter we have passed this name of the base class, and then we have written our statement. So a base class can be in same module or another module, means this can be in the same module or different module. If it is present in a different module, then the module name should be followed by dot operator. Like if it is not written in the same module, then we should write a dot operator also to specify that this base class is referred to this child class, or this child class is referred to this base class. Like class derived class means this, then mod1 dot base class means the module name and followed by dot operator, then the name of the base class. So here are one MCQ type question. So it is written that inheritance is implemented by creating a derived class that can have the feature of a base class in addition to having feature of its own. Yes, it is true, because inheritance derived class has the feature of base class and it can have its own feature also. Next is in Python, a base class is created like a regular class. It is also true that we have read in Python the normal class is or the base class is created as normal class. The derived class is created because in this the base class is passed as the parameter. Next, third line is a derived class is created by passing the base class name as parameter to the derived class. Yes, it is also true because the derived class is passed the parameter name the base class. A base class should be in same module. No, it is not true because we have studied that if it is in another module, we should write the module name then followed by dot operator then the base class name. Okay, so we will solve first a simple example about the inheritance, then we will move to next topic. This question is saying that we have to create a base class named car and a derived class named Honda. With the car which we have created, the base class will be its parameter, as here it is written that the car as its base class. We have to add two methods here: set engine model, which take the parameter self and engine, at get engine model, which print the engine model, like we have done in previous examples. So we have to then add two method in the derived class also. These two method are in base class, then these two method are in derived class. Set car model, which takes self and model as the parameter, and get car model, which print that model. Create a instance of Honda class and name it to my car, means we have to create the object for the derived class and name it to my car. Then we have to call the set engine model and set car model on the instance of passing ek1 and v6 as the parameter, means we then call the set engine and set car model on the instance, and we will pass this ek1 to set engine model and v6 to set car model. Then we will call these two on the instances which print the past parameter. So how we can solve that? Like the question seems to be very big, but it is very small. Just simple. If you know how to create class, how to make a base class, how to make derived class, so you can solve it easily. So first we will create the base class name car, like here we have created. Next we will define a method set engine model and pass self comma engine to this model. Then we will do as we do in all questions, self dot engine is equal to engine. Then we will define another method, define get engine model and pass self parameter to it, like here we have passed. Then we will return this self dot engine here, like this self dot engine is returned here. Then we will create the derived class which name to be Honda, and we will pass the class car as the parameter of this derived class. So all these property of this class is inherited in the class Honda. Then we will write define set car model self dot self comma model, means in this derived class we need to define two method, set engine set car model and get car model. So we will define set car model and pass self comma model to this as parameter. Then we will write self dot model is equal to model. Then we will define another method called define get car model and pass the self parameter to it. Then we will return this self dot model here. Then we will create my car object for the Honda derived class, like here it is written, like create an instance of Honda and name it to my car. So we will return my car is equal to Honda, this derived class. Then we will pass my car, means this object dot set engine model, means this engine model, and the engine model is ek1. ek1 is written because this engine will be given name ek1. Then my car dot car model, means this set car model, and here it is only one parameter, so this parameter is given the value v6. Then we will print the car detail as print my car, means this object dot get engine model, means it is returning the self dot engine, so it will here return my car dot get engine model. then my car dot get car model means this will return the cell dot model. So now you will thought that here we did not create any object of the class car, and we have written the get set engine model. So you can see that we have passed this car as the base class for this derived Honda class. So here we have created the Honda. So this Honda already have the properties of this car class. So this two method will be also is there, but it is hidden because as we have read abstraction to hide unnecessary information. So if we create the object for this Honda class, so by this we can also call the method of the car class, because the Honda class is derived from the base class car. So we can directly make only one object for the derived class, and we can give the name or to that parameters which we have passed in the method. Then we can also print that by only the object which we have created for the derived class. Here the derived class is Honda. Now you have understood what is inheritance and how we can make the base class, and how we can make the derived class from the base class. So next is understanding with the superclass. So what is superclass? Superclass is also known as the base class, is the class that provide common attribute and method which can be inherited by other class. So superclass is also known as the base class or the parent class. It serves the blueprint for all the subclasses, means from it we can make many more classes which we can derive from it, allowing code to reuse and for better organization. So it will help us to reuse the code again and again. So how we can define the superclass? A superclass is just like any other class, like we have defined here class vehicle. So normally we also define the class like this. So this is also known as a superclass, is usually contain general property and behavior. So the main difference may be between the superclass and the normal class will be like it will no, there is no much difference in superclass and it is like the normal class. There is a difference between superclass and derived class. Like derived class is extracted from the superclass, means derived class will have the properties of the superclass. So if there is some common properties on the classes, so we can make it as superclasses. Like here superclass is vehicle, then we will define the brand here, then we define the another method start, how the car is started or the vehicle is starting. Then we will define a method stop, the vehicle is stopping. Here the vehicle is the superclass, like here it is also mentioned in the comment. Define an attribute brand, mean the brand is an attribute defined in the vehicle superclass. There are two methods, start and stop method, this and this represent the common behavior that all type of vehicle can have, means all car to have be started, all car to have be stopped. So these are the common properties or the method in all the classes. So this vehicle class will be as superclasses. You can create an object directly from the superclasses also, like we created object for the class, so we can also create the object for the superclass directly. So next is understanding the superclasses. So superclasses, you can create an object directly from the superclasses, like vehicle is equal to generic vehicle dot start, vehicle dot stop. So here vehicle is the superclasses, but we have created an object directly from the our superclasses. Next is superclass and inheritance. When another class inherits from the superclass, it automatically gain all its attributes. Means when you derived a class from the superclass, then it will have all the properties of that superclass automatically. Like here class car, means we have defined a class car and inside it we have passed the parameter vehicle. So this vehicle, all three method here will be passed to the class car automatically, because car inherit from the vehicle. So when you write define init self comma brand comma model, so you should call the superclass constructor. So for calling the superclass constructor, you should write super, then curly brace, then round braces, then dot, then the init function, then brand. Then you can simply call self dot model is equal to model. So the main thing here to be noted is that when you call a super class constructor, you have to write super, then parenthesis, means this parenthesis, then dot, then this init, like we write all time. So here vehicle is the super class and car is the subclass, because the car class is derived from the vehicle class. So the super class constructor is super. So just remember this syntax. Next is, here it is one question, then we will end our video. Given the following code, identify superclass and subclass. Class vehicle, then it is passed, then class car vehicle, then pass. Here car is the superclass and vehicle is the subclass. No, because car is inherited from the vehicle here, so it is false. Both are subclasses, both cannot be subclasses. Here next is, there is no superclass and subclass relation. Yes, there is a superclass and subclass relationship, as the car class is derived from the vehicle class. So vehicle is a superclass, yes, vehicle is a superclass and car is the subclass, so it is the transfer. So by this I am ending my video. So if you have any doubt, you can again watch the video, or you can tell me in comment. So thank you and have a nice day.